All right, and we're back. What's up, ladies and gentlemen? It's John here with Head Movement MMA, back here with a very special guest, all the way from the island of Hawaii, our very own Ray Cooper III. What's up, Ray? What you been up to so far this week?
What's up, man? Just been training, get ready for this fight, and uh, yeah, I can't wait already.
Yeah, I bet you're chomping at the bit. You kind of what like maybe every 6 weeks in between each fight for I guess what from July to August, no October, right?
Yeah, it was about 6 weeks, but this one is kind of longer. It was about 10 weeks now, so 5 more
Yeah.
weeks to go.
Did the tournament style kind of remind you of your wrestling days? With a lot of the tournaments, with the turnaround, and you earn your points. You know how you finish and where you stand at, and what's next for you.
Yeah, it was real fun for me, and just reminded me how I used to wrestle in high school, and um, I could have went to college and wrestled, and it's real fun to compete at this level and uh, competing on tournament. I really love this tournament style.
Yeah, and it's kind of like I know what you correct me if I'm wrong. You were a high school state wrestling champion.
Yes.
So you haven't really shown any of your wrestling skills. I mean, you haven't had to show it, right? In your first three fights. I mean, it's been pretty dominant with via ground and pound TKOs. I think people think you're just a striker, but they have no idea how great your wrestling is.
Yeah, I wrestled in high school and I wrestled my whole life. I'm a wrestler at first, so yeah. Well, these last two fights, I showed my wrestling a little bit with Jake on the ground, and
Mhm.
I just wanted to prove that I could wrestle with the grapple with the best guys, and I did that.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, definitely, definitely. So I mean, your boxing is excellent. As well as your wrestling. How's the jujitsu game?
Good. We grapple mostly every day, so but I'm not a real big jiu-jitsu guy. I don't really go to any jiu-jitsu schools to do jiu-jitsu. We just train the basics with my brothers. That's pretty much it. You don't really need a belt in fighting. Uh, you get hit once, you don't need your belt.
Yeah, yeah. I mean that strong wrestling background that you have. I mean that really has to pay off for you. I mean you're comfortable on the ground, probably comfortable, with anyone trying to submit. I think you actually do have a few submission moves yourself. A couple real naked chokes on your right.
Yeah, I really like the rear naked chokes. Watching BJ Penn, he's the
Yeah,
strong guy, so that's pretty awesome.
yeah, yeah. Now with your wrestling, with your training. I know you like to keep your camp small. You keep it pretty much in house. I guess it's all family oriented. I mean, you have your father, who was a great fighter. Still looks to be in great shape because I think we're probably about the same age. It looks like he can still jump in there if he wanted to. And then you have your two brothers also. I guess they kind of followed in your footsteps as well with the wrestling. Both credentialed, wrestlers, in their own right. Are you? I mean, how was that just training, with the family only? I mean, and staying away from the big gyms. And I mean, does it feel more? I don't want to say comfortable, but does that? I guess if there's a day that you don't feel like training hard, I mean, you have someone there that's like, come on, let's go, right? I mean,
Hey, John, you was cutting out on that. Sorry,
okay.
man.
Oh, no worries, no worries. So, like I was saying, like if with keeping your training camp so small inside your family, that I mean that's got to help keep you motivated, right? There's days where you may not want to train, but you got two brothers and your father, telling you like, hey, we need to go train.
Yeah, no, I really love training, especially at home. We're all based wrestling based, so training is real fun for me, and
Mm.
um, I love training, and they love it. They want to fight later on in their career, later on when when they get some fights in. So it's awesome,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
I really love it. Yeah.
yeah. I mean that's awesome. There's a lot of talent in the Cooper family. Obviously, that's great. What do they have any type of time frame, like when they would try to start, I guess their amateur career?
Um, Not right now. My other brother Blake, he kind of wants to fight, and my youngest brother.
Mhm.
I get four brothers, one sister. So
Oh wow. Okay. Okay.
yeah, they they're gonna want to fight sooner or later, but they're really focusing on me right now and really building them up and helping me at the same time. So yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So what does your day consist of? I mean, are you jumping up early? You're training a couple times a day, or are you? And also, are you still teaching at the high school wrestling?
Yeah, still teaching at the high school wrestling. But right now the preseason started, but I'm not making it out there because I gotta train. So I train in the morning, train for like 3 hours, and then train at night again. That's around 6 something.
Yeah. Okay. Let's see. Like I said, earlier, you didn't have. I don't think. Yeah, I think you only went past the second round or first round once, and that was your first fight against Jake. I mean, looking back, was that kind of like your toughest opponent to prepare for? I mean, I know there's a lot of long history that that's involved there.
Yeah, that was one of the toughest fights. I think he's the toughest guy in this division, and I beat him twice. So there's really nobody else that I really feel that I have a threat from,
Mm.
and Jake was the pretty much the toughest guy.
Yeah. I mean, you also had a rematch against your opponent that you had your last loss to, with Henderson.
Mhm.
I mean, you're getting a lot of revenge here. You're getting family revenge. I mean, you're proving a lot to people that you can handle. Like a seasoned veteran, and like Jake Shields, and I mean, you avenged your last loss. I mean, um, how does that kind of keep you focused, or not get too big headed about this, your last fight of the season, which is I know a lot of people have, you can't help but not to mention, the grand prize, of $1 million. But, how do you stay focused on that and, make sure you get the task and, get the belt and get your hand raised?
It's just the thought of taking care of my family and fighting at this high level that I wish I was trying to get at when I chose not to go to college, and it's finally happening, and
Mm.
um, I'm taking full advantage of it. So, and I thank you to the PFL for giving me this opportunity for really letting me be a part of this, and
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Now, I guess what there was the story goes that you reached out to Ray through Facebook to try out for the audition. Was that was that how it happened, and what was entail, or how was the tryouts? Were there a lot of people there? Where was it more one-on-one, or was it a kind of a group elimination?
No, it was just I just reached out to Ray Sefo and uh, told him about how I fight, and yeah, and he gave me the chance, and he just put me in the bracket in the roster of PFL, and that's how it pretty much came to be. And I watched Ray Sefo when I was younger too, and he was one of the guys I used to watch Planny
Mhm.
because he comes out to fight, and he was another Polynesian that is very vicious when he fights.
Yeah, I mean, he went by the nickname of Sugar Ray, but there wasn't he wasn't too nice in the ring. I mean, he definitely liked to bang when he was in the ring.
What the
That's for
hell?
sure. So,
Yeah,
when did you actually start? When did you turn professional?
I turned professional when I was 18 years old, so I was like right after high school
Okay,
when
wow,
yeah, yeah.
wow. And as we talked about off air, you're only 25, but Uh,
Yeah.
you got a couple kids, so you may have a +3 on under your belt. You might be feeling 30 right now, right, with the kids there.
Yeah.
All right. So what do you think? I guess without giving away the game plan, what do you kind of think you need to watch out for against your next opponent um, for the New Year's Eve bout?
um, I don't see any threat from him. I don't really game plan. I just go in there and then try to knock him out. And I'm gonna do the same thing I did to everybody else. I'm gonna go after him. He gonna back up, and I'm
Yeah,
gonna catch him standing up on the ground.
yeah. I mean, I've gotten to know you a little bit over the year, right? And I'm telling you, you just knock him out, man. That's that is your thing, right? I mean, you're just so nice and so polite. But so is it kind of like when that cage door closes? Does you flip a switch and you can actually just go do what you need to do, man? I mean, it's a very exciting style, right? I mean, you're not leaving it in the judge's hands, which I don't know what your opinion is on some of the fights, especially in the playoffs. You really took full advantage, of these rules, with the point system.
Yeah, I don't think about the point system. I'm not gonna leave him to the judges. I'm not gonna leave him to people's hands that don't know what they're talking about with fighting. So
Yeah,
that's my whole perspective around that, and that's why I go in there and I'm gonna finish the fight. I'm not gonna. Last time I went to a decision, I lost. So I'm not gonna let that happen again, and I can finish every guy I fight from
yeah.
now on.
Do you watch any other fighters or organizations, in your downtime, or are you just more focused on yourself?
I watch some other organizations. I like to watch Planet Boxing and wrestling. I like watching the old boxing videos of Rocky Marciano, Sugar Ray Robinson, and
Mm-hmm.
Mike Tyson. Them and
Oh yeah,
yeah, and BJ Penn too. Planet
sure,
BJ Penn.
sure,
I
yeah,
used to watch.
yeah.
Yeah.
Does now? Speaking of boxing, did you happen to check out the fight Saturday?
No, I didn't get to watch that fight, but I saw all the highlights and I heard it was a pretty good fight.
It was crazy. It was definitely like the boxer against the brawler.
Hmm.
You
Yeah.
just, I mean, you got someone that was just so frustrated, like I just want to knock somebody out. I mean, um, I'm with everyone else. I kind of, well, I definitely saw it, going for Tyson Fury. But
Hmm.
hey, that's what happens when you leave it in the judge's hands.
Yeah.
Um, but in your going back to your training, are there any other guys that are in the camp training with you, or people seeking out, because of the success that you and your team are having? Is anyone else asking, like, for your dad to train them, for you to train them, or is it pretty, you close it off and just to family and maybe some close friends that you have?
Yeah. I have my training doors closed. I don't let any kind people train with us and mess up our um, our lineup that we get right now. I have my brothers and then my two friends that come over, uh, Shane Bibbin and Andrew Foucault, and I got one of my cousins coming too. So I keep it real close. My two friends are like my brothers. I knew them since we was in high school and intermediate. So uh, yeah, I real keep it real secluded and I don't let anybody just train.
Yeah. And were these
Hmm.
guys that wrestled with you through high school, or they also have training and fighting, or is it just a nice steady regiment of wrestling, 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 and of course your dad, your dad is super well rounded also. I mean, you gotta love that.
Yeah, my friends just they wrestled in high school and then we fought down in the local promotions. So um, yeah, I was just
Hmm.
having them come in training, but they haven't been fighting. They got kids and they work too. So,
Yeah.
but they love training. So, and I got my dad that he's still an animal and still rakes me and my brothers up.
Yeah, man, I'm telling you that, guys. If you haven't seen Ray's dad in the ring, like Dad still got it. Dad's
Yeah.
he's not walking around with a dad bod on the beach out there for sure. He's not that dude. He's not the dude probably with the t-shirt on in the water like myself. So,
Nah, man.
I mean, he's definitely put together. Now, so what were kind of like your overall thoughts, on the season, like just overall from like the rules to how everything was handled, the events, the fighters' outcome. I mean, we had a lot of ups and downs. There were fighters that made the playoffs that couldn't continue because of injuries, because of the short turnaround. I mean, do you think this is a viable option for MMA? Because it's very well, it's not very different. It's we've seen the tournament style before, say with Pride back in the day. So it's not a new format, but I guess maybe the season format is a little different, right? Because it runs for about 6 or 7 months in the year.
Yeah, I am totally for this kind of fighting, and look, you're fighting the whole year, so it's gonna be survival of the fittest. The weak is gonna fall off, the strong is gonna prevail, and kind of these guys, they got into the playoffs, and you know what I mean. I guess winning money for your family and being a champion at the end doesn't really matter to them if they complain about their hand or their knee. You can just tell them, I feel good, I'm ready to go, and I feel like the guys nowadays is not as tough as the guys that was fighting back in the old days, back in the Super Brawls. Down here, we had Super Brawls down here, and the old UFC and the old Pride. Those guys are real fighters. Nowadays, I don't think the guys is built like them. And
what was that one promotion? I'm sorry, right? What was that one promotion? Rumble on the Rock? Was that what it was?
Rumble on the Rock? Yeah. That was another one. My dad fought in that one, so it was awesome. Back in the day when guys used to fight, they used to fight, come out to fight, not come out to point fight and try to win a little split decision. I don't like fighting like that, and that's not how I train. And yeah, I love this format, and I think we're gonna be the new face of MMA.
Yeah, I mean, you fought twice, in my hometown, DC. Everybody loved you there. It seemed like the crowd from the first time we were, PFL was here, which is based out of DC also, to the last event, PFL 10. I mean that place seemed pretty packed. I mean, you were and are the main attraction. I mean, you are the face of PFL. I mean, that's what people associate PFL with. Is PFL? It's Ray Cooper. Do you like carrying the banner? I mean, I don't know if PFL is asked much of you in that regard, but I know a lot of the promotional materials that are out there. I mean, there's Brother Boy, posted up there. They do have one with no facial hair that kind of threw me, Ray.
Yeah.
I was like, what's going on with this picture? But that one kind of threw me there for a minute. And I was like, he's got the baby face there. But, I mean, how does that kind of, how does that make you feel? I mean, you kind of, we're kind of, I don't want to say completely low on the radar, but I mean, especially with who your dad is. People like, oh my God, that's Ray Cooper's son. Like, wow, I mean, you had a lot to live up to there. How was it like, being that poster boy and that front runner? I mean, even more so than maybe Kayla Harrison.
Yeah, I just come there to fight, and I enjoy it. It's a blessing from God, and I'm thankful to be in this position, and I hope I can represent the PFL well and with professionalism, and I feel great about it, and I love it. I love the challenge.
Yeah, I mean, you should. I mean, so I believe I heard a rumor that Mr. Ray Cooper was possibly thinking about moving up to 185. I mean, what are we trying to do here?
Yeah, I just we'll see. It's just my internal goals that I get for myself, and you don't become the best by fighting one weight class. You go up to challenge everybody, and um, that's one of my goals. If it's to go up to 85 next year, then I will do it. And sooner or later, I am going to do it. I'm going to go off after everybody and mine, and I'm going to do it.
Okay, and then wow, that's wow, Ray at 185. I mean, you're basically going to be running in there at your natural body weight, is what you're saying, right? I mean, more or less.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean,
I always wrestled at my regular weight, so I'm not a real big fan of cutting weight. I think it's not good for your body, and um, you don't perform at your best. Although people say it is, but I don't listen to people that don't know what they're talking about when it comes to fighting. And,
yeah,
yeah.
that's kind of like an odd subject, right? I mean, like, if people are saying like, hey, if you cut 20 or 30 or whatever, 40 pounds, even some of these guys, you'll have a better chance, So you're saying you're depleting your body, for a long, unhealthily, right? But you're going to expect to be able to perform a lot better the day after of cutting, 20 or 30 pounds. I mean, it's kind of weird to me. I mean, I get it, but the science just doesn't make any sense, to cut that much weight. That's kind of weird. So you're up in the mountains, is that correct?
Yeah, I live in the mountains in Pacific Palisades. We moved here when I was in 8th grade, and we've been here ever since. And it's real secluded and quiet. I like it.
What's the elevation level like there? Is it high, like mile high, like Denver, or
no, not even close to that. I've been to Denver, Colorado. Oh, it's too nuts over there.
Yeah. The air's
it's not that far. Yeah, the air is real thin, bro. I'm not used. I'm sea level.
Okay. I got you. All right. So here's one question that I have, that I've always wanted to ask. Right. A professional athlete, and I don't know if you know the answer to this, but who better else to ask this? So in boxing, you see the guys warming up. There's always this big deal of like, you want these boxers to come out like very lathered up, right? Sweating. I mean, almost profusely, right? They don't recommend the boxer coming in the ring dry. You always say, don't come in the ring dry. Make sure you warm up. You don't really see that. I mean, you see the guys warming up in the back, for MMA, but you don't see the guys coming out sweaty, like heavy lathered. Like, I mean, that used to be a big deal, for the boxing aficionados, whatever, 10, 20 years ago. But you don't hear that anymore. I mean, why is it different for boxers than MMA?
I think in boxing they just want to be, sort of punches can slip off of you, and you don't really have a solid shot on them. And with MMA, you don't want to be too slippery, because you can't get anyone in hold. You can't take them down. Pummeling when you're wrestling, it comes real slippery, and it's advantage to the guy that's more, I guess, lathered up and really, like, sweating profusely. And that's just what I think. The guys just in boxing, they don't want to get hit, so punches slide off easier. And when they're in the dirty boxing, they can move easier, and they can't clinch you. So that's just what I think.
I mean, would you ever get in try boxing out?
Oh yeah, that's one of my goals too. And
okay,
I'm gonna push that later after these 2 years, and we'll see.
Okay. Now, are the 2 years, are you under contract by PFL? I believe, what little I know about the playoffs and how it helps the fighters for next year is all the fighters, I guess, who make the playoffs, they basically get a you know, a I don't know. They get to come back for next year, right? So I guess their hold new tryouts or whatever, and you know, and I guess what there's 70, I can't remember the actual number. What there's like 70 or so guys in the PFL now, and I guess they'll bring in a new crop of 50 or 60 or something like that. Is that how it's been explained to you?
I guess so, but I really don't pay attention to any of that. If they want to bring some more guys, bring it on.
Yeah.
I love it.
I mean, that way you still have a challenge, right? I mean, that challenge is always there, and you know, in the division, however long you stay, or you know, if you move, there's always fresh faces there, I guess, you know, for the year. So how after this season, like how will you spend, you know, your downtime for the next 6 months? You got any plans for that, or?
Oh, I'm not gonna have no downtime. We'll go right back into training. Probably gonna get a little bit bigger if I'm gonna go to 85 or 205. We'll see. I really want to fight the best guys, and Vinny's one of the top guys in the PFL too. So
yeah,
we'll see.
Yeah,
and I just want to push myself.
Yeah,
so I'm gonna be training.
Yeah, Vinny's definitely definitely coming back, and you know, he's looked good this year also. What I wasn't sure about, I don't know if you watched PFL. What was it? 5, I think 4 or 5. I was when they were in Nassau, and they celebrated by doing the rock bottom on the mat. I mean, that kind of scared me, man. I'm like,
oh yeah, that's kind of weird, huh?
Yeah, I'm like, I don't know if that's a good thing, you know, to have something, you know, a freak accident happen, you know, blown out his knee or something. I mean, that would have been bad. So let's kind of go back to your opponent, you know, for New Year's, you know, Magomed. I'll just call him by Magomed because I think it's Magomed Magomedkerimov, right? I mean, I know you're not, you know, worried about him. What kind of things should he prepare, you know, worry about for you?
Just probably my pressure, and you gotta be in shape to go, because it's not gonna go 25 minutes. I tell you that. And yeah, you just gotta be ready for my pressure and be ready to throw down, because I'm gonna be coming with some heat, and it's either he gonna take it or he gonna fall. So,
do you think that's one of his weaknesses, not having the ability to handle pressure?
Yeah, when he was, I think when he fought this last one, he kind of was backing up when he was fighting Kush, and Kush caught him a couple times, and I feel if I catch him, he's not gonna be standing, and he leaves his chin up in the air a little bit too much when he backs up. So, and I can get in the inside on him, and with guys with long arms, they don't do too good with me because they can't punch when I'm that close, and
right.
And
you're still
an inside fighter, so
yeah, you're at full power. I mean, you know, it's funny. Like, I hear, you know, different reporters, you know, other fighters, and you know, whatever fans, you know, they're always when they see like the mixed match and like the height, or when there's a severe height, you know, discrepancy, they're always like saying to the shorter fighter, like, how are you going to handle the height, right? But it's like, hey man, he's been this height his whole life. Like he's used to it, right? I mean, like, it's no big thing for you. I'm like, you fought taller guys, you know, shorter guys, whatever. I mean, that's pretty, you know, probably common to you right now. I mean, you don't have any second thoughts about that. A fight is a fight to you.
Yeah, I feel like I have the advantage because once I get inside, it's really hard to get away, and by the time you come in away, I'm hitting you already. So yeah, I feel like I have the advantage.
What do you think about his submission game? You know, he missed. He seems to like to go for those guillotines.
Yeah, he likes those guillotines, and that's pretty much the only thing he has. But I didn't see him finish it any of them.
Right.
So it's tight, but we'll see.
Yeah, it doesn't seem to use his length as much as he should, but yeah, that's the kind of things I noticed of him. And then he likes that little side kick, apparently, right? I mean, that little
the front leg side kick.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. Yeah. See, I'm watching too, Ray. I'm breaking down film.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, all right, Ray. Well, I won't tie you up too much. You know, thank you for jumping on. You know, such short notice, man. And I mean, I know, like, you know, the fans love you. The fans love what you stand for. You know, the person that you are. You know, which says a lot about you, the Cooper family. You know, after the fight last time, you know, we were all in the hotel lobby, man. I mean, that was a beautiful thing to see you surrounded by so many friends and family, man. You know, was that kind of like your favorite thing to pig out on, like after the fight, is the pizza? Or I mean, that it was late, so that's probably the only thing that was open that night. But yeah,
Yeah, that was awesome. That was
yeah.
awesome.
Did, did, did you,
I love just chilling out.
yeah, yeah, definitely, man, definitely. Did you stick the bill to Ray though? Did you did you stick the bill to Ray Sefo? That's all I want to know.
Nah.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. Well, yeah, man. I'll let you you know, send us out with some shout outs. Anyone else that you want to thank, you know, plug your your sponsors, you know, family, friends, you know, whatever you have, you know, your handles and all that. I know you're not a huge fan you know, of the social media, but you know, I've seen you step up your game a little bit here in the last couple of weeks.
Yeah. I just want to thank my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, and my mom and my dad and my auntie, couple of them, and Corey and Paulele for my sponsor, Hawaii's Finest. And yeah, and my family, we lost some more family members this year. My auntie Renette and my cousin and my uncle. So yeah, shout out to their families and love you guys.
Yeah, absolutely, man. You heard it, ladies and gentlemen. That is the great Ray Cooper III. Catch him this New Year's Eve, December 31st. We'll be fighting at what is that, Madison Square Garden, Hulu Theater. You know, have they released the lineup, or are you closing out that show, or you know where you're finishing at? Or
I
fighting?
think so. I think I'm closing it out.
Okay.
So yeah.
Is that going to be before the before midnight, or is that going to be you know, after?
I'll make sure it's before.
Yeah. It may not last long, ladies and gentlemen. His fights don't go long. I think what out of your 17 fights, 14 have ended in the first round, I believe, something like that. Something really impressive. So he's got fire in those paws, and that's for sure. So once again, thank you, Ray. Appreciate you. I'll see you in New York, and you know, give my love to the family, man.
Guaranteed, brother John. Aloha,
All right,
thank you.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it. Later.
See you.